Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 50 of Draining the Swamp. And I'm here with my wonderful co host, Meldor, the Aloha Shirt Psychic, or Auntie Mel, as we like to call him, who just spent a wonderful week with family. And so I was so happy you had family time with your niece. I know how important she is for you. So
She's like a
that,
daughter.
that made me feel good.
Well, she's my great niece, and her daughter is my great great niece. So, I her Scarlett is 12, and Brittany's 37. But it's people come to Chicago, and the first thing I come to the Museum of Science and Industry. That's my favorite museum. I used to volunteer there. And then Scarlett, she's 12. She wanted to go on Michigan Avenue and run in. Oh, that kid bought more stuff. Uh, and she's very
What's the
intuitive.
point of vacation if you can't go spend money you don't need to spend?
Well,
I mean,
she's good at finding money. I mean, we were walking through the parks and she found not all at one place, but found over $350. I mean, she was finding $50 bills and nobody around to claim it.
damn. I need to
I
go walk
said,
with her more often.
yeah. But it was, and then one day we went up to Lake Geneva. That's a resort town up in Wisconsin. So, Brittany is my niece has been here. My great niece has been here many times. Scarlett, it was a couple years ago the last time she was here, so she remembers some of it. But the museum she liked. But I think, oh my God, my Brittany can find things to do in Chicago. I've lived here for all these years, and things I never knew existed, like the
Oh,
slime
yeah.
museum. We went to the slime museum
There's a slime museum.
where they
Okay.
make the stuff. It's like
Yeah.
skin is like,
Yeah, I know it's gross. It
or
always, I don't like the consistency, the way it feels when you hold it is like, bleh.
or American Doll Museum, or the ice cream museum, and
Oh, no, I would like that. That would be cool.
well, they have hot dog flavored ice cream. Believe it or not. Oh, what?
Yeah, no, let's not. There's ice cream needs to taste like ice cream, not like regular food.
Actually, I tried it. I thought I'm going to do this, and I'm like, nah. I tried. It wasn't bad. They give you a pickle with it. I'm like, wow. It did taste like hot dog with the consistency
Okay,
of cream.
if you say so. I'll go with it.
Of course, everybody who comes here wants a Chicago hot dog, a Polish sausage, and a deep dish pizza. So,
There you go. There you go. Deep
well,
dish pizza. Yeah, I could get into that.
if you don't have a Chicago hot dog, you haven't come to Chicago.
Well, I've never been. Well, no, I take it back. I was twice. I was in O'Hare Airport.
Well, that's not really.
One when I arrived and then took the shuttle to Great Lakes, and two when I left Great Lakes and went back to the airport and got on the plane. So that's the only two times I was technically in Chicago. And I think the airport's not even in Chicago. I think it's one of the suburbs.
Well,
And
because
I was,
it's really in Rosemont, but Chicago annexes the land from
yeah,
Rosemont.
yeah,
So if you're in O'Hare, technically you're in Chicago, but it's really in the village of Rosemont and surrounding areas. But it's
right. Well, I was there for Great Lakes, Michigan, when my son graduated basic training from the Navy, and so I had gone there, and it was in May. When I left Phoenix, it was like 115 degrees, and so I didn't pack any winter clothes. And everything had already been packed up, and I wasn't even thinking about it. I'm thinking it's May; it's not going to be cold. Oh my God! I got out of the air. I got out of the airport outside, and I was like, "Holy crap! It feels like the dead of winter here." And so I froze my butt off the whole time I was there.
it was almost 80 degrees here today and yesterday, but it was
Yeah, yeah, it's been
back
in the 80s here, so
back 4 or 5 days ago, and it was like I told them bring warm clothes because one day it was like in the 60s, the next day it was like 35. So
yeah.
and they didn't bring
That
warm clothes. So
the last 3 weeks here, it's like one day you've got sweaters and layers on, and then 2 days later you're in shorts and a t-shirt, and then a couple of days after that you're back in layers again. It's like make up your damn mind. It's hot
well,
or cold.
Come to Chicago, I'll show you around. How's that?
Oh, I plan on it. I plan on making a trip there sometime soon. So,
You're always welcome. So
well, thank you, thank you,
I
thank
know
you.
people are commenting about hot dog ice cream. I said the same thing. Look, would I serve it for dinner? Absolutely not. They put it on a little bun, little pink bun, and it's got a little pickle, and I'm like, tastes like hot dog, but it's
Okay, I
texture.
would have they as long as they don't put mustard on it. I guess it's okay.
They do if you want it.
No, I don't like mustard on anything.
You
I don't
know,
like mustard. Period.
you can have a Chicago hot dog without the mustard. How's that?
Yeah, that's it's basically my idea of a hot dog is the weenie and the bun, and I'm done.
Chicago,
Maybe chili, if depending on the chili, as
Chicago
long as it
hot
doesn't
dog
have
is
beans
dinner
in it.
style hot dog with the pickle lily, the pickle relish, pickle,
I don't
onion,
like pickles. Yeah,
onions, they're dill, kosher dill, onions, I forget, but mustard. But you could get a plain. Nobody's going to say anything.
yeah. I'm a plain Jane. I don't eat all that other stuff on food.
My
So
hat, this hat is for Oral Cancer Awareness Month. April Oral.
very good, very good, very good.
I just want to
Yeah,
touch. I want to touch on one thing if I could. I was on Linda Grindle's show today,
yeah.
and
I saw like about 20 minutes of it, and I haven't been able to get back to it to finish.
well, we were talking about Swalwell, and the timing and everything of that is like, whoa. I'm a fighter. If somebody, accused me of something I didn't do, I would not resign. I would stand up and fight.
Yeah.
However, we were talking about how if he would resign from Congress, and I said, well, it's going to take a while. I picked up something with the midterms, but if I'm wrong, I'll say wrong, right? Um, of course, when I predicted it, maybe it was in his head not to resign. Maybe he thought he could make it to the midterm.
That's true too, because I was seeing the same thing yesterday. I was like,
You go.
I don't see him giving it up. He
Because
seems like such a fighter. So
sometimes we're telepathically hooked into the energy of what's going on in his head at that time. And I think
yeah,
I'm not trying to give myself an out. I just wanted to come public and say, hey,
that,
he resigned.
sometimes you get them right, and sometimes we get them wrong. That's
Well,
just the way
I
it
think
is.
it's more like the energy that we were hooked into, what was in his head.
Yeah, it's whatever we say or predict, it's the energy of the moment, and that could change 5 minutes later. It could change 5 days later.
My light bulb just went on though, and it just hit me that I don't know why it didn't hit me earlier, but it just hit me now that behind closed doors, I think there were members of the Democratic Party that were telling him it would be best if he resigned from Congress. And I don't, so I think I
Yeah, I
technically
mean,
I predict I see that's what happened actually. Uh,
yeah, that sounds about right because the Democratic Party tends to be overly eager to oust people for the slightest little thing, while the rest of us look around at what's on the other side, going, "Really, you're going to nitpick on that?"
well,
When you look at what the other side is doing, but
you
I
know,
get it. I get it.
if he is guilty, he should be held accountable.
Yeah, exactly.
But for Trump to point fingers, he was convicted of 34 felony counts, and look what he did to Jean Carroll, and she won that civil suit, which he still has not paid her.
No.
And I see the courts placing a lien on his estate, saying they have to pay her. But anyway,
Well, I figured with Swalwell that if even a hint of any of it may have been true, he may have also stepped aside for the sake of his family and his wife. He may not have wanted to drag them through it. I would think that if it's in his past, it could be something they've already worked through as a couple and decided to move on from it. I did read an article, like I was telling Mel backstage, on Substack. I think it was yesterday I read it, where there's information coming out saying that the three women who accused him also all received very large sums of money recently, from some right wing think tank place or something. So that gives me, pause to thoughts. So, it is what it is. And like I said, maybe he just didn't want to drag his family through all of that, or maybe he just didn't want to,
Well, it'll
you
come out
know,
more about, and when they really start to, and here again, I'm all for the victims, if it's true. But I
yeah,
got that one woman's testimony, or not testimony, but what she said, and there were glaring inconsistencies. Um,
right,
the bottom line is, my guides assure me the truth will come out.
right. Because if he did it, then yeah, his butt needs to be gone. We don't need that on our part in our party. Um,
Well, the,
but
the
I don't want to see somebody get painted with a broad brush that maybe it's not at all what everybody's trying to make it out to be.
correct, correct.
So and
Well,
we'll find out eventually. We'll find out
people
what it
are worried
is.
about the race in California, and I'm like, I Linda and I talked about it today, and I was like, well, but it's obviously the Republicans' way of trying to control the race in California. But
Right.
what I see in California is people coming out in droves to vote.
For the Democrats. Yeah.
So I still see a Democrat winning in California. Worst case scenario, which I do not see, is if a Republican won. Don't panic about that, because the California House and Senate, all majority Democrats.
Yeah.
So that governor would be a lame duck.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And
I'll tell you who
actually,
I
I
like.
read something earlier this afternoon. Several of the Republican nominees that were, I guess, trying to make way to get on the ticket to be voted for, didn't any none of them hit the whatever percent it was just to even be considered according to their party rules. None of them even matched it. So it's like, what? There's not going to be a Republican on the ticket at all. That would be okay. I would have no problem with that. But
I think they were
um,
hoping that I think they were hoping that it would script the vote so much that it would give them an unfair advantage. But Newsom is going to put a Democrat in that seat. Um, People are asking, is it Kamala? We'll talk about that in a second. But Linda and I felt a woman, and that probably, if it is, it's Katie Porter. But I'll tell you, the name that stuck out when I read the Democratic candidates, now that Swalwell is gone, was Xavier. I think is Becerra or Becerra. I'm probably mispronouncing his last name,
yeah,
but that that just popped out, you know.
yeah,
So, um, but it will be a Democrat as governor of California, and somebody who will have the certain part of the anatomy to stand up to Cheeto Leany. So there you go.
exactly. And I know he's Swalwell has been on the hit list for quite a few years, especially because of his um, uh,
911 commission.
the January 6th commission.
And well, I'm sorry, not 911, January 6th commission.
The January 6th commission, yeah, it's because he was ripping through some Republicans over that. And then the other big thing I saw today was there is a ginormous Cat 5. It's already a Cat 5 typhoon in the Pacific, heading towards the Mariana Islands, which is a U.S. territory. And we have one of the largest air bases on these islands. It's like kind of like the last place militarily before you get to another main continent or something. And this, and now I can't remember the name of the stupid typhoon, but it's already like at 160, 165 mile an hour sustained winds, and it's growing. It's getting bigger, and the thing is huge, and they're worried because these islands that it's heading towards, I mean, they're not big islands, but they're also the ones that are kind of, they were created from the Mariana Trench, which is the deepest point on the planet that we know of. is the Mariana Trench, and part of the development of those islands was because of that trench, because it's where two main plates slide on top of each other back and forth, and so they just had like an earthquake over those plates a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and now they've got this huge typhoon, which is basically a hurricane. They just have a different name for it on the Pacific as they do on the Atlantic. But I watched like a 15-minute documentary on it today. There's some weather thing they put together. And I was like, holy crap, man, that thing looks scary. And the military base that's there rely upon all of their abilities for power and communication and everything. These two huge generators that are over 50 years old. It should have been replaced long before now. And so, they're worried that if they get hit head on like they think they're going to get hit, they're not going to last, which could mean months and months and months of trying to do anything to make to put everything back together, as opposed to just a few weeks of putting
Well,
things
really
back
do
together.
massive damage to um, those bases. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what they're worried about.
Maybe
So,
some,
and I saw that today, and it's typhoon.
maybe it's a
Um,
message to Trump about he shouldn't be in Iran.
Tell me about it. The typhoon Sinklu, Lusing. I don't know, something like that. It was a weird name, and I caught that on my lunch break, and I was like, wow, that's.
Right.
And it just makes me wonder because right now, as we speak, we've got major fire alerts up and down the Pacific coast. We've got storms that have been developing and building all along the tornado alley and the southern tornado alley. And so that's going on. We just had an earthquake in Louisiana like a month ago, which it was North Louisiana. We didn't even feel it down here, but still, it's not something that you normally would think. An earthquake in Louisiana, really? Well, the the Madrid Fault runs parallel with the Mississippi River, part of what helped create the Mississippi River, and so that makes me worried. And you still are having ice storms and blizzards in the Northeast from crazy weather there, and I'm like, what on earth are we going to get hit with this year for the Atlantic and Gulf Coast for our hurricane season? Because
Well,
that starts in a couple of months. So,
I think there's going to be record storms moving up through the
yeah,
Gulf of Mexico. Thank you.
I thought it was going to be last year, but it didn't happen last year. So I feel really strong it's going to hit
Also,
this year.
record storms coming in from the Atlantic. By the way, I just not to change the subject. I just looked up Xavier's last name. It's pronounced Becerra. Becerra.
Etc. I think somebody,
Becerra.
Jen Lilly had asked about it. What are her chances for California governor?
I think Javier, he's got excellent chances. I mean, as I looked down the list, that his name just popped out at me. There were
Yeah,
other Latinos running, but that name just popped out at me. Um,
that's it.
so Tampico Thievery wants to know if Newsom will ask Harris to run for Swalwell's vacant seat. I think I don't know. I've often seen her in a in a high level seat, but
Although we've been seeing a lot of her lately, uh, doing some, campaign stops for a lot of Democrats. Um,
she should run for governor of California. It's too late now. You have to get the names in already,
yeah, yeah,
she would have won, I think. But
that's it. I still keep hoping that maybe she'll throw her hat back in for 2028 for president, but um, I just don't depends on the day as to what energy I pick up on that. Some days it's like I feel really like, yeah, she's really thinking about this. And other days it's like, yeah, no, she's like, I had my turn. I'm
My
done.
feeling is that Tallarico is going to be president one day. The guy from Texas.
Mm, yeah. So
Oh, I
but
do see Harris in a high level government position. Um, I just
she
don't
would
know.
make an excellent s- attorney general for the country.
Uh,
Um,
but I agree. Or
or chief justice for the Supreme Court.
well, she's never been a judge though.
Oh well.
Or
Do you have to have been a judge? I thought you didn't have to be a judge.
I don't think so. But I think if you're going to be chief justice on the Supreme Court, you should have been a judge.
Yes.
um, I'm just thinking that with Harris, hmm,
Thank you, Cassie.
Attorney General for her or Secretary of State.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
Secretary,
yeah.
not Secretary of
Yeah,
War.
because I don't think she would agree to be VP again for anybody.
No, I don't think. I
I
don't.
could be wrong, but I just don't see that. But I could see her accepting Attorney General or Secretary of State. I could easily see her stepping into those roles. Um,
If Newsom was smart when he runs for president, he should ask Pete Buttigieg to be his running mate.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that would be
Buttigieg, I've
excellent
seen him
choice.
on Fox. I've seen him, and he never shouts over anybody. He just slays them with the facts, and
Oh yeah, and he does it in such a way that usually by his third sentence, he's already got half the audience agreeing with him. Like, well, yeah, yeah, of course, that makes sense. He's like, well, okay then,
Katie,
what's our problem here?
Katie and proud. She says, "Bonjour, my Cajun cousin."
Yeah, she's from up north Cajun country in
There you go.
Canada. So,
There you go.
and an absolute sweetie. So yeah, we've already adopted each other. Decided, yeah, we're cousins.
Katie
So.
and proud says, "Hot dog ice cream, no, thank you." I didn't invent it. I just tried it.
It's like pineapple on pizza. I'm sorry.
No, I can't. Oh,
The two do not go together.
or ham
Not
on
now, not
pizza.
ever.
No.
Or what?
Ham on pizza. No. Mm-mm.
No.
Pepperoni.
Sausage, okay. I want pepperoni. I don't want anything else on my pizza either. I just want pepperoni.
Actually, in Italy, the pizzas are more like a flatbread. They're very thin,
Yeah.
and you can and they don't put a lot of tomato sauce on them. When I was in
Yeah, I don't
Rome,
like too much sauce. I
yeah,
like to taste it, but I don't want it to be overwhelming.
it's really olive oil and cheese. It's just like a flatbread, really.
Yeah.
Um, in Italy, lunches are real big and dinners are small. So you eat a big lunch, you take a little break in the afternoon, and then you go back
Yeah.
to night, and it's kind of
Yeah.
neat.
That's a lot of the Mexican and Spanish traditions are the same.
Right.
Eat a big meal midday and then go take your couple of hour nap and then go back to work. And it's like I could do that. That would be nice. Um,
Yeah, Sweet Pea Gemstones, we know that he's resigning from Congress. The point I was trying to make is today earlier, I said probably maybe around the midterms, but I was probably thinking what was in his mind at the time. But I still, as we said on this show, I saw some members of the party saying, better if you resign. So that's what, I think that's how it changed the energy. And look what they did to Al Franken, Suki Lau. I mean, that was true. He kind of got crucified, and
and that was before he was even in office as a comedian, and he wasn't anywhere near the actual woman that he supposedly did this over. He was like on one side and she was asleep across the thing, and it was perspective shot. It
right,
was a bunch of comedians in the middle of the night just screwing
right.
around and making each other laugh. And yeah, he got crucified for it.
My
So
light bulb just went on. I don't know what Al Franken's doing now, but
he was doing a podcast for a while. I don't know if he's still doing that anymore or not. Um,
I've got a funny feeling he's going to throw his hat back in the ring futuristically for some politics. And if anybody says anything about it, he can always go Well, take a look at Donald Trump.
It's,
Donald Trump
yeah,
had a lot of
exactly.
nerve even saying anything about Swalwell.
About anybody. Yeah,
And Roger
absolutely.
Stone is the one that released this. So, Roger Stone, convicted felon, pardoned. Thank you. Um, I don't trust anything that comes from Roger Stone. Roger Stone's going to be in trouble legally again. Um, did you read about Pope and the Trump? Pope and
Pope Leo is ripping him a new one.
oh well,
I'm like, yay!
um,
And I'm not even Catholic anymore. And I'm like, yay!
Pope Leo wasn't from the south side of Chicago. He was from a south suburb, Dalton. And people in Chicago, and when I say Chicago, I mean suburbs as well and townships, we're tough, and we don't cotton to somebody threatening us.
Yeah,
And
well,
I just love the way Pope Leo handled it. And so, I think there's going to be a lot of Catholics in this country, even if they were conservative Catholics, that, Trump thinks he's going to win over. But I see them saying, no, we're sticking with Pope Leo because, he's Augustinian and they're all about peace.
yeah, exactly.
And basically what Pope Leo said to those reporters was, without saying it like this, was like, bring it on.
Exactly. Thank you, Sukalal. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, I mean,
Trump said that the Pope Leo had a terrible foreign policy and that he was weak. I mean, excuse me, what's wrong with a foreign policy talking about peace?
yeah, it's
What?
well, it is the way that they went about it, the way that the Pentagon went about it, with basically stating that we're the U.S. and we have the strongest army and we can do anything we want to do, and don't forget about the Avignon uh, years of the Pope when back in the 1500s, 1600s, or something, the French king was not happy with the current Pope and literally had him kidnapped and hauled to France, where he was basically told, "You're going to do what we say if you want to live." And so, but it turns into, anytime anybody references that, from what I understand, it's like a direct threat to the
Well,
Pope. And evidently, the Vatican is taking it as a direct threat to
it
the
is
Pope.
direct. It is a
It
direct.
is, yeah.
Uh,
Um,
but this Pope, he's like, bring it on. You know, he's from
exactly.
from he's from Chicago. Even for Trump to say something like that, but it's the same rhetoric, the same exact words that Trump has used against other politicians and Biden and all that. He's weak, terrible foreign policy. It's the same exact verbiage, and people are
Yeah.
getting tired of it. Trump is unraveling. His
Oh,
presidency is unraveling, and then
without a doubt.
congratulations to Hungary because the Hungarians voted
I
out.
got rid of Orban. Is that was his name?
Right?
So it was like, yay.
And then
Um,
Pete Magyar, I think it's pronounced, won. And this Pete Magyar, he's all about the European Union. He's all about Ukraine. He's all about
yeah,
NATO. And so my feeling is Hungary is going to start to help. It's going to start to help Ukraine. And if Ukraine decides to get into the European Union or NATO, Hungary blocked them before, but guess what? They won't block them now. The Hungarian people were out in mass, and my guides told me that's exactly what's going to happen here during the midterms. You know, the MAGAs will be voted out, and I see people celebrating in the streets, mass celebrations, like
oh,
in Hungary. So,
absolutely, absolutely.
congratulations, Hungary, you got your democracy back. What about Melania? You know, with that speech, which was terrible. And I heard on the Midas Network, I think it was Ben Meiselas. So I can't.
Did Masilas, however
That's
you pronounce
how
it.
you say it. That I forgot exactly what he said, but somebody had threatened, or somebody is threatening to come forward and really reveal her past. And
This I know about. I read the article on it. It's the ex-wife of a good friend of the Trumps, who he gave a like an ambassadorship or something to. I don't know. Anyway, this couple, they got divorced. Now she was a foreign person, but she came here, became an American, and they got a divorce, and they're having a custody battle over their kid. And he got Trump to sick ICE on her and deport her.
oh,
And so ICE hauled her out of the country, even though she's an American, and she got the other country. Well, her new husband is like, he's fit to be tied. And so Melania said something about it. I don't know what it was she said, but basically trying to make it sound like it was this woman's fault when she and this woman were supposedly friends. Now they were buddies, they went out together and stuff. And this woman basically told her, look, bitch, I know where the bodies are buried. And that's basically what she said. And she flat out told her, you better back off or I'm going to start naming names
and
and
she
where they're
will.
buried.
She's
And
gonna
she
name names.
will.
She
She
will.
is. She's getting ready to start naming names. She's doing a book now or something.
And
Um,
that's why Melania came forward with that disjointed speech. It wasn't about the victims. It was about her trying to cover her own rear end.
right. Yeah. I mean, the minute I heard that she had come out, and I missed the live because I was working, but the minute I heard her talking about it, the first thought in my head was, what are they trying to get in front of? What's getting ready to happen?
That's exactly what I thought.
That that she's going to jump out there and try to get ahead of the story. And then when she came out talking all of this, she sounded as disjointed as he does. It's like, what are you
She's
both drinking the same Kool-Aid? I
the
mean,
female version of him.
yeah, it's ridiculous. And
Well, if they call her to testify to Congress, I think she's going to have to testify. She's gonna be in trouble for lying to Congress because she's already said that she didn't know Epstein, didn't have that much to do with them when pictures clearly show them together.
exactly, numerous pictures and videos
Which aren't
and text
itinerary, by
messages.
the way. They're the real thing.
Yeah, and emails of her with Epstein, with Ghislaine, um, uh, the four of them together. There's actual evidence already out there that uh, it was through Epstein and Ghislaine, part of that group, that introduced her to Donald. Because at that time she was one of the hostesses, I guess you could call her, at some of these gentlemen's club where they hung out at. I'm trying to stay nice about it, y'all. You know that. Um, I could, I could, I could say a few things.
Are you trying to say she was a pole dancer?
Yeah, without the pole, or at least not the metal pole. Anyway, she was looking to dance on another kind of pole.
That's what I
Um,
meant by pole dancer.
yeah, she was. Unfortunately, Donny Boy's pole is only half staff, so she didn't get much work there.
He doesn't have a
Um,
pole. He doesn't have a pole.
yeah, how she managed to have a kid from him. And I would have questioned it until you see the kid. And you're like, oh my God, he's a spitting image of his
Just
father.
like him.
Um, and but it just, yeah, but she was
Something big is
totally
coming out
just,
about Melania.
oh
And
yeah.
this woman you're talking about, I think once Cittadini is gone in his regime, I see them. I don't know if they pulled her citizenship or whatever, but I see that reinstated.
Well, and she hasn't come back into the country, so she's not somewhere where they can get to her. You know,
Right, right.
she's in another country now, and she's protected by her new husband and whoever else it is that's
Guys
involved.
tell me that there were whistleblowers coming forward about Melania and Trump with this whole Epstein thing, and this is one of them.
Oh, exactly. I mean, everything you see him do, Iran or however you want to pronounce it, Venezuela, Argentina, this and that and the
It
other.
was all. It was all. It was
It's
all diversion to take
all
off.
squirrel to get
Right.
off Epstein.
To
Yeah.
take the eyes
And
off the Epstein file. And now, when this whole thing with Iran and the Epstein files are coming front and center again, isn't it amazing how that
Sheila's calling
Roger,
me out.
isn't it amazing how Roger Stone released the thing about Swalwell? Another diversion. I mean, I'm not saying that Swalwell's innocent. I'm just saying the timing of it is very.
Exactly. Oh, Kevin's here. Hey, Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Um, so, yeah, the Kit Kat Club. uh, there
Gary
are other moves for him, but
Gary for Grace says, when will troops in Iran and how many big missiles does Iran have? Where's the uranium? Thank you, Melanie and Sherry. Well, they have. I don't think they have nuclear bombs, but they have drones clearly because they've been sending money. They've been supplying Russia uh,
yeah,
with drones.
with drones and they've been doing a lot of
But Russia's hurting right now because
big
now
time.
Iran can't send them the drones because they're using them to fight the war. And Russia, my guides tell me that Putin is really nervous and he's hurting right now.
Big
Um,
time, big time.
and the Russian
So,
people are going to get rid of him. I'm telling you.
oh yeah, I've been seeing that. I've been seeing that. Um, uh, it, and it's not just with Iran; it's with the UAE. Um, they're not very happy right now because there are bombs flying all over that interact with their territory as well, and it's like that's the last thing they want to see is some of their stuff start blowing up. And from what I understand, the Imam in Iran has said that y'all back off, or we got a lot closer people here that you're allies that we can go shoot a few missiles at. And the fact that they sent a couple of long range missiles to Israel to prove their point has really got people freaked out now because nobody knew they had those kind of missiles,
They do.
and they do. So, and it just kind of makes you wonder, well, where did they get them from? Did
They're
they get
all.
them from us, or
I think they developed them on their own. Where did they get the
that could be
technology?
too?
Maybe from Russia. However, Iran is going to be like Ukraine. They will not give up. They're not going
No,
to give up. I mean,
uh.
they've blockaded their ports and the Straits of Hormuz now. Well, I don't think the Straits of Hormuz is still in Iranian control. But, Trump said, oh, it would be over in, a week or two. This is going to go on, and it's
My
draining.
son, my son was in the Navy for 5 years. He did two deployments to the Arabian Sea, to the Arabian Gulf. So he was already over there. Their ship dealt with incidents with Iran. But he was like, "Yeah, I've been through the Strait of Hormuz several times." He's like, all the big ships have to go right down the middle to the deepest point because if you try to scooch over in any direction, you're going to hit the bottom
Right.
because of the way it's built. And he says, and as big ships are going down the middle, you got small ships and boats and sails craft and all this stuff that are like a 6 lane freeway, just zoom, 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 going up both sides of you, plus all the stuff that's on the shore. He's like, anybody that goes in there that they don't want them in there, they're not going anywhere. They'll sink them before you, and there's nothing you can do about it because you're like a bullseye target right there. And
Like I said,
I know that they just turned around two destroyers. It was either Friday or Saturday that tried to go through, and Iran stopped them and said, "Nope, you need to Iran go back to the Indian Ocean. You can't come through here." That's a big hurt on us and our military not being
Iran
able to
will not
over.
give up. I can tell you that right now.
No, they
And
will not.
like Venezuela, I'm in control of Venezuela. He takes out Maduro and created a mess. That was a diversion from the Epstein files.
Yeah,
After Iran, then he's going to start talking about Cuba. It didn't work with Iceland because NATO stepped in. Uh, he's just, it was, I mean, this is the first time that we've started a war. Usually we don't start wars. And
Yeah, usually we're the ones that join in to help try to wrap it up and get it over with. But
the American people, most of us are like the rest of the world about Sheila be a critical thinker. Our response, I think, in my psychic opinions, like the rest of the world, we're going, what? We know why Trump did it. We get that. And he's making money on it. Don't kid yourself. People think that maybe Netanyahu coerced him into it. No, they had talked about it for a long time, but it's going to bring down Netanyahu's fall too. I'm telling you.
oh, absolutely,
So the
absolutely. He
American
keeps
people are, most of us, like the rest of the world, are totally against this.
exactly. Sheila was asking, what are the American people's response on no real reason to be in Iran? Most people are pretty pissed off about it, to be honest with you.
They
I
are.
mean,
They
you
really are.
know, when, where I'm at work, I'm at a university and there's a pretty large presence of Iranian students that are there as well as faculty. And, they're not these evil boogeyman that the Trump and them are trying to make
No,
them out to be.
nope.
They're some of the nicest, friendliest, warmest people I've ever met. And so it's but again, they also they don't take any BS and they're not going to back down.
We've got people here from Canada. Cassie Lake, I don't know if you can find it. She says in French, good evening from all Canada. I can't read. I don't know how do you say good evening in French?
Uh, uh,
Um,
Bonjour, bonsoir, um,
Soiree. Bonsoir.
bonsoir. Yeah,
Bonsoirre, whatever. She said, Sherry and Mel, I can't read the rest of it, but good evening from all of Canada. Hey, Canada.
yeah. She's always writing me stuff in French, and I'm like, I can't read French. I only know a couple of words.
It gives us incentive to learn. Keep it up.
Yeah, it's and most of what a little I do know is Cajun French. It's not Parisian French or Canadian French. It's so fun down here during Festival International Acadian when we have these groups from around the world that are here for like a week music festival, and you'll get Parisian French, Canadian French, other areas that are predominantly French, and they get down here and talk to the Cajun French, and they're all like trying to figure out what the other one's saying because it's not the same. It's they revert to English to get certain points across because
Like hearing,
whatever doesn't translate. When I lived in Phoenix, two of the guys I worked with, one was Mexican descent. His family was from Mexico. The other one was Cuban. And it would be funny because sometimes when they were on a break and they'd just be hanging out in the office and they'd be sitting down and just talking to each other in Spanish. And they'd be going along and then suddenly you'd hear one or the other and go, huh? And they wind up having to revert to English because the Cuban word for it and the Mexican word for it weren't the same word.
for what
So
am I right? The word for what?
the different things that they would try to say to each other in Spanish, it
Right.
just because you have Cuban Spanish, you have Mexican Spanish, and
Well, you
it's not Spain Spanish, so it's
can understand they're mutually intelligible, but there's just some different words for things. That's all.
exactly. I mean, I just used to laugh at them because they would have to flip to English to get the point across because you'd hear one or the other be going, "Huh? What?" And
Like,
I'd laugh at,
like
but
there's in Spanish two ways to say you, usted and tú. Usted's formal, tú is informal. But I just found out in places like Guatemala, I think in Argentina, I'm thinking in Spanish now. Instead of saying, I think they use vos vos for the informal you. Uh, so, just different words for different things. Like in the UK, for example, if you say crosswalk, people don't know what you're talking about. They call it
yeah,
zebra crossing or the pavement. There's no the
yeah.
sidewalk. There's no such thing. They call the sidewalk the pavement. So
Well, it's like in Ireland, your driveway is called the street, and your street is called the driveway. So it's
right.
like um, you kind of have to know that when it's different like that, it can get really confusing.
Good luck if they have
And
a really heavy Irish brogue or Scottish brogue because you ain't going to understand it.
you don't understand them
In
anyway.
England, some places in England I couldn't understand them. I say, you have to slow down and speak up because I have a hearing problem, which I do, and then I can get it. But when they talk really fast, it's like,
Oh
whoa.
yeah, it just it's like, okay, I'm at kindergarten level. Y'all need to back it down a little bit.
Uh,
um,
357 Beagle says, is King Charles going to leave the throne before he leaves the planet? That's a good question, actually.
actually, I was going to bring that up. I'm glad you said something. I saw a couple of articles over the weekend where they were talking about King Charles is in the process of making William a regent so that he can start taking on more and more of the actual kingly duties that the king would do, that normally the prince wouldn't be allowed to do, but a regent can, because they're kind of like, you know, king behind the scenes, there to do things uh, that King Charles couldn't do. So I keep coming back with that vision I had 2 years ago of seeing William's coronation, and Charles was not dead; he was still alive. So, um, and the first time I had that vision, I contacted a friend of mine from England. I was like, "Is that even possible?" And she's like, "Yeah, they can step down. He doesn't have to be king. He
I think
can
can abdicate.
abdicate." Yeah. So I was like, "Okay, well, I wasn't sure about that." So I didn't
His
quite
mother,
know how that worked. Thank you, Katie. And,
his mother was a hard act to follow, really hard act to follow.
well, yeah, I mean, she was queen for what, 70 something years. Um, and I know Charles waited a really long time to wear that crown. But, now with his health as bad as it is, and I keep seeing and hearing rumors that things between him and Camilla are not all that great at the point right now, and that while William has always been respectful to a degree, she was the woman that basically ousted his mother from her position.
Intuitively, I get the feeling that William can't stand her.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's
Again,
no,
I'm trying to be nice about it, but it's like
and there's no
there have been quite a few articles I've read where he has demanded that her family can no longer stay in royal lodges or cottages. They're out. He called the lease up on several of them, like, nope, you're done, you're out.
and
My grandmama's not here anymore to let you stay in. She was being nice, but your ass is out now.
I don't
So
I don't think
uh,
Queen Elizabeth really liked Camilla either. She just put up with
no,
it. But
she
but
tolerated her. Yeah.
I think once William is king, and that's not. I mean, I see it. I don't see, and I could be wrong. I don't see Charles staying on the throne until his death. Uh,
Mm-mm.
Now, his like Elizabeth said, she would stay on the throne until she died, and she did.
Right.
But
Right.
William is going to make an excellent king,
Yes, he is.
and
And Catherine is going to make an excellent queen.
Kate will make an excellent queen
Um,
consort. And I'm taking perverse pleasure in seeing Camilla. She'll be queen dowager, but they'll silence her real quick.
oh
When
yeah,
once
yeah, yeah.
Charles is gone.
She won't.
Kate is not going to abuse her power. She's going
No,
to do. She's going to
no.
be. She's going to do wonderful charitable work. She's going to.
Well, she's already proved herself over and over and over again. I mean, she and William lived together, dated and lived together for over 8 years before he finally proposed. Because when people asked him, why did you wait so long, and his explanation was very clear. He was like, I was born into this. I didn't really have a choice. this was my life. He says, and being born into it is much different than coming in after the fact as an adult. You weren't even part of the royal infrastructure. You were a commoner, not even part of it. And he wanted to make sure that she felt comfortable enough that when they made it official and got married, that she was going to be able to transition into that role seamlessly. And I have to hand it to Queen Elizabeth. She went out of her way to be there to help Catherine learn and get into that framework of that frame of mind of what to do and how to be and how to handle certain things in a way that she wasn't for Diana, that she had said later that she always regretted and blamed herself for not stepping in more to help Diana deal with the pressures of it. Because again, I mean, you're born into it. It's second nature. You breathe it. You don't think about it. And so I always thought it was very um, I don't even know what word to give it. Just it was really over and above the fact that she went out of her way to make sure that Catherine fit in.
I think
And
I think that Kate is queen consort. She already is a sweetheart of Great Britain.
oh yeah,
And
everybody loves her.
once she's queen consort, she'll be the super sweetheart of Great Britain. Everybody will love her. And
Oh yeah,
William, he's going to be very well loved. He's going to be an excellent leader for that country and an excellent king. They're figureheads, but he will. My feeling is he'll save the crown. So,
I like what Beagle said. Yeah, Catherine's going to kick butt and take names as queen consort.
but
Yeah,
Catherine won't
but
say
she'll do it in a nice way.
it's not about her being a warrior or arrogant or cocky or mean spirited. It's just her being Catherine, her being Kate, and
Yeah,
because Camilla, pardon my expression, comes across as biatch. Uh,
yeah.
Kate won't do that.
Well, and not only as biatch, but she also comes across as she expects it. That she's earned it because of all the crap she's
Didn't
put
earn
up.
anything.
But she didn't earn anything. She's when she should have stepped away from her relationship with Charles when he married Diana to give them a chance to truly try to have a decent marriage, she, from everything I've read, she dug in even deeper and harder, and she made sure that there were things that Diana would find out about, which created more stress for her. So, and I know with William watching what happened with his parents and all the trauma as a kid that he went through in losing his mother and how he lost his mother, um, I think he really wanted to make sure that Catherine was prepared and ready to step into that role. I think the fact that her family embraced him as just a normal person. They didn't put on airs around him. They didn't try to make him feel like he was above everybody else in the room. They treated him like one of their own kids. And he adores his in laws. He absolutely loves his mother and father in law and goes and hangs out with them whenever he can. He was always, let's go to your parents' place because they had that stable home life that he never grew up with. They had that normal home life that he never grew up with. And I think that between the two of them, they're raising three children that are very grounded and very aware of what their duties are, but not to the extent that it bleeds into their home life, their private life. And I think Catherine is probably really strong in that aspect of, keeping them as normal as they can be, while at the same time understanding you are princes and princesses of the realm, and there's certain ways you behave. Um, I know, and of course, she's real big on families and children and all of that. That's part of her her passion, that and art history. So, and uh, Queen Elizabeth adored her. I mean, from day one, she absolutely adored her. They got along, and so, uh, and she's also uh, good friends with Margaret's daughter, um, and I forget her name right now, but uh, they're friends, and then Andrew's wife, um, she's good friends with. They've both been there to really kind of be there to help Catherine kind of navigate some of this stuff. And that makes a big difference. So, but yeah, and like I said, for 2 years now, I've been getting the same vision. I keep seeing William getting William's coronation, but Charles is not dead. He's still
He's going
alive.
to be
So,
king a lot sooner than what everybody is thinking. And as I
yeah,
said, it is going to be phenomenal as queen consort. And when Camilla becomes queen dowager, she'll try to get into the public view again. And every time she does, it's going to be cut down.
yeah, yeah.
If she knows what's good for her, once she's queen dowager, she'll just
Go find herself a mini castle and
bingo,
you
bingo.
know and
Um,
invite her family to come and be with her in that one place and leave everybody else alone.
Here's one
Um,
from Rhonda Burhow. Why didn't Amanda, I can't pronounce the last name, Ungaro? Why didn't Amanda Ungaro give her interview with CNN? Thank you both. Do you know?
well, that's the woman that got hauled out by ICE and
Right.
whatnot. I haven't read anything official about that. It feels like she pulled the plug on that because I think she knew that if she went forward with CNN, that they could effectively do the catch and kill on her, which is they get the story, then they lock it down with the rights so she can't talk to anybody else about it, and then they kill the story, and it doesn't get out. And I think she's too
But
smart for
her
that.
story will get. But her story will get out. That's what
Yeah,
I'm hearing.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. It's just not going to happen with mainstream media.
my feeling is her lawyers told her not to do that because of probably what you've just said.
Yeah,
Probably
that's what
fearing,
I'm picking up.
probably fearing reprisal,
Do it.
and probably fearing reprisals.
Yes, yes, exactly. From what I understand, she's in another country. I don't know what country she's in, but she's somewhere where they've kind of got her locked down and guarded so that nobody can get to her because
She's safe.
um,
She will come out. She absolutely will come out.
oh yeah,
Um, and um, and it's going to be like, wow, you know. I see her coming out. So not coming out of the closet, but coming out and telling her story.
I understood what you meant. um, uh, what about now? Let's see. Did I start? I saw it earlier. Um,
I'm looking at a picture of Xavier Becerra. Somebody says that he was held a position under Biden. That's true. He's an attorney, Secretary of Health and Human Services. Well, he'll do a lot better job than JFK.
ain't that the truth? Um, okay, Sheila, be a critical thinker. This was her question. What's going to happen with Raskin saying that Trump needs a psych evaluation? Hopefully, more people will get on board for that.
They're
So,
going to try to bring out some crap about Raskin as well. Won't
oh
work.
yeah,
It won't work. Raskin will stand up to it and say, "Wait a minute here. Let
yeah,
me go through this." Um,
he's not going to play. The same with Sheldon Whitehouse. I think
exactly.
he would make an excellent president, by the way. But
Um,
Ro Khanna, that's another one. These people are just they're not. You've got AOC, you've got Jasmine Crockett, you've got Elizabeth Warren. There are quite a few Democratic women in different levels of roles that they're in that are real ass kickers. They're not going to put up with it, and you don't really see them get attacked that much because Republicans are afraid of them.
you know,
Um,
you know, Molly Fritz brings up something here. When they say Trump posed as Jesus, she said, "I don't think Trump was posing as Jesus. I think he sees himself as God." You know what, Molly? When you said that, I got cold chills up and down, and I think you're right. He sees himself as God.
yeah, Joan had said something about it too. Uh, yeah, there was something he posted about posting himself as being like of being Jesus or something.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I
But
can't keep up with it, but
I see what Molly wrote in the comments, and she said, "I don't think Trump was posing as Jesus. I think he sees himself as God." You know what,
yeah,
Molly? I agree with that.
I do too. Absolutely. Uh, uh, he definitely thinks that he is above reproach and that there is nothing that he can't do, that people just cannot stop him. And it's like, yeah, no.
And then his cronies will pay the piper. That's what I hear. There's somebody, three shifts, three shifting
Oh,
veil.
three shifting veils. Yeah, that's
It says
uh,
Florida has posted
Debbie.
for 5 data centers. We already have a water crisis, overbuilding, and failing infrastructure. I'm glad you brought that up, uh, shifting veils, because um, I see Florida purple, and the Satan can't run. He's termed out. I don't know. I got a funny feeling that there's probably going to be a Democrat or an independent that's going to be governor of Florida. And I think exactly what you said, three shifting veils, at least my guides tell me, that because of the situation in Florida, the water crisis, the failing infrastructure, the economy,
Yeah.
that, people vote on economy, not so much social issues. And that's going to get the Republicans out, or as governor anyway. So I just want to touch on that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's Debbie, three shifting veils.
That's who?
Debbie, her name's Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
She's been on my channel a couple of times. She's really nice.
Hi, Debbie.
She has
Hi,
a very interesting channel. She does really cool stuff, um, with just more spiritual, um, not as political, more on the other side of things. But um, she does do political too sometimes. But she's very calm and very soft spoken, and it's like I can listen to her talk, and then she'll zone me right out. It's like listening to a guided meditation or something. So, and so y'all check out Debbie's channel, man, because it's definitely worth it. Um, uh,
people,
yes, the ballroom has been killed right now at this
and his,
point.
and his arc, his triumphant arch, or whatever it is, will be killed.
Yeah, that he wants to put up. Yeah,
Here's Cassie. A new book out in the UK claims Dumps ceased his plans to annex Canada in deference to King Charles when he learned that he was King of Canada, head of state too. Trump didn't know that. There's going to be so many books coming out about Trump in Europe that are going to be true, and he's going to try to ban them from coming into this country, but it won't succeed. So there you
yeah,
go.
no, that's uh, uh,
We got time for one more, then I got to run, if that's okay.
yeah. Oh, wow, we've already been here an hour. Holy moly!
Katie and Proud says, "How long after the midterms will this regime fall?" well, we have to wait until the next presidential elections for things to get better. It's going to take a while to undo the damage that Cittadini did, in my
It's
opinion.
gonna,
Psychic opinion.
some things are going to take a couple of generations to repair.
Right. However,
Um,
the first thing a new president coming in will do, other than Shady Vance, the Maybelline Queen,
yeah,
will issue an executive order overturning all of Trump's executive orders.
yeah.
Um, the regime is failing now. It really is.
Oh yeah, they're in free fall at this point.
Exactly.
They are nose diving so fast that
I mean,
I'm amazed they haven't splattered at the bottom yet. But
Shady Vance was just horrible in Hungary. Um, I forget Donald Trump. It's egg on their face. I think behind closed doors, Trump is livid that he couldn't influence the elections like he wanted to in Hungary.
yeah, absolutely, he
And
was not.
at least I got to give Viktor Orban credit for one thing. He did call and concede the election. He didn't say it's rigged, it's fake, it's phony. So
Yeah,
I'm glad he's gone.
you're not the only one. There's a lot of people that are glad he's gone. Um, a lot of people that don't even live in his country that are glad he's gone.
Oh,
But what
oh,
you
here's a good one. Sheila be a critical thinker. Rumor has it that Texas will be real hurting, will be a real hurting unit because there will be no fuel electricity in June. What's your take on that? I do see massive power failures in June
Mhm.
and all of that. So
Yeah, I keep worrying that they're going to have another massive grid failure, because all that money that was obtained while Biden was in office for the infrastructure bill. Um, I mean, there was billions upon billions of dollars that was allocated out to different states, and there was a big chunk that was supposed to have gone to Texas to rebuild their power grids and everything, so that they didn't have happen what happened to them the last time they had a really bad freeze there. And from what I keep reading is that they've not done anything with the grid, and the money's gone. I don't know what he's done with it, what the governor there has done with it, or who he paid off for with it. But um,
yeah, it's not gonna. It's like you know.
it's like I don't know if it's gonna be. I keep feeling like we're gonna have a really bad storm system this summer in the Gulf, and that's going to include Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi and Florida and um,
I mean, Texas should have learned, not the people in Texas, because there's some wonderful, kind people in Texas.
yeah,
But it's sad that people have to suffer because of the administration anywhere.
well,
But
it's like
uh,
here in Louisiana right
I
now.
mean,
So
the universe gave them a couple warnings. It's like fix your grid, and they didn't do it. They just ignored it. It's like
no,
put a band-aid on a bleeding artery. And
yeah,
unfortunately, when you have that kind of heat and that kind of inclement weather, people die because of the weather, but because the administration didn't do what it should have done.
exactly,
And that's
exactly. It
tragedy.
makes it so much harder. Um,
Well, that governor
so
of Louisiana is going to have a lot of egg on his face too.
yeah, I'm just hoping that he's a one-term governor and he
He'll be a
doesn't
one-term governor. It's a
and that
message.
he doesn't manage to buy his way into another term.
A message for the
um,
people in Louisiana to get out and vote, and they will.
yeah, yeah, I think so.
All right,
Um,
my dear, I got to run.
Yep, yep. We've been at this over an hour, and my hamburger's still sitting here from Burger King. Need to go zap it so I can eat it. And I ate my fries while they were still hot, but the burger's still waiting for me. Um,
You, you know what I had? I had cottage cheese, an avocado, all cut up together with a little balsamic dressing, a salad, and just a little piece of steak, about like that. That's what I had for supper.
well, I had a full salad for lunch, so this is my little guilty pleasure. My son went running there, and he come back. He said, "I stopped at Burger King." I'm like, "Yay! I don't have to cook." So
When I'm at work, I'm very rarely I get a lunch, but I only have about 5 or 10 minutes to eat it, and it's always cold. So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
nuke it. So I'm gonna let you go so you can nuke your hamburger and
yeah. And I'm gonna let you go so you can go do your thing. And we will be back on the 27th,
yes,
which is in 2 weeks. Same bat time, same bat
same
channel.
bad time, same bad chance.
And we may drag somebody in to come join us, and then you may just have both of us. So
You know what I just saw? Remember in the cartoons you used to see that long cane with a hook on and they put it around their neck and pull them off stage?
yeah, pull them off
We've got,
stage.
we've got a cane with a hook on and pulling them on stage.
Going in the opposite direction.
There you go.
All right, my dear. Thank you much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Bye. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.
And thanks to our moderators, all of our
Yes.
moderators. Thank you.
Big thank you to the moderators. We could not do this without you at all. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will talk to you soon. Bye.